Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of It's a Conspiracy with myself, Tom Shaw, and Josh Jones. In this episode we're going to be talking about the moon landing. Hope you enjoy it. Bye!
Because the last episode we didn't put out because it just wasn't as good, because it was too knowledge bomber, just because it was the first time I'd done loads of notes and knew everything. I just felt this time the notes are going to be in my head.
Well, let's see how that works out for us.
Alright.
So, the moon landing.
Yeah.
So, tell us, Josh, what did you already know?
I knew that some people didn't believe it, and that was about it. I obviously knew about the moon landing in general, but when it comes to the conspiracy theory, I knew that some people thought it was filmed in Area 51.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was kind of it, really.
So that's all you knew about the conspiracy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is one of those conspiracies that's kind of rooted in fact a little bit,
Yeah.
in that the moon does actually exist,
Yeah.
although some people think it doesn't.
Are you looking at me like I don't think it does?
Is
Who
it-
doesn't think the moon exists?
Some people think it's a hologram, yes.
Oh yeah, but those people are obviously fucking stupid.
So yeah, the moon actually exists.
Yeah. Did you used to think it was cheese when you was younger?
Well, I watched the Wallace and Gromit thing.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I used to think it was cheese for years, till I was about 15.
Imagine how many cows you'd have to milk for that.
Yeah. Oh, but
Until you were
I think
15. Until
I
you were
think
15.
I-
What do you mean until you... That just soaked in. What do you mean until you were 15?
I said
'Cause
about 15. It could have been 14.
Like, because I thought that maybe till I was like 5 or 6.
Well, sometimes if you don't ask questions, you don't know the answers. And I obviously didn't ask the question until I was 14 because I was too busy.
Is he doing what?
Well,
At
I
14?
could have been younger. It was just a guess. I don't know. I was about 14, 15.
What were you doing in between wanks that was making you go, oh, that was brilliant, that? Wonder what the
I
moon's like.
didn't start wanking dead young.
Didn't you?
No, like loads of people.
I did.
Well, I did a little bit, and then I felt it was just pushing out air. Because there was no, I didn't want to say spunk. I just thought it was a bit dirty, isn't it?
Yeah, that happened when I was a kid, that. When I, discovered it before,
Yeah, you're just pushing out air.
Yeah.
You get cramp. Because there's nothing, you're just going forever. Waste of time.
But still, you're saving money on tissues.
I might have been younger than 14 before I knew that it was cheese. Let's say 12. That's like a standard age, I imagine.
Right, so, with the moon landing, what happened was, it started in 1960. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. And what happened was, President Kennedy did it might be 1961 actually, but it started in the early 60s. President Kennedy did this big speech about how he wanted for America to land on the moon before the end of the decade. And it was part of the Cold War and the space race.
Well, I know that they started shitting themselves when they did Sputnik.
Yeah, well, Russia pulled way ahead in the space race. So they had Sputnik, the first satellite.
Yeah.
They had the first dog in space.
Yeah, I knew about Sputnik. So just, there you go. Well done, Josh.
Yeah, first satellite in space. That reminds me of when I was trying to work out where a satellite was. In trying to explain it, I made out as if you didn't know that satellites were in the sky.
No, yeah, we was talking about something and he said, oh yeah, they've got a satellite. And then you turned to me and went, satellites are in the sky, you know. I was like, how fucking stupid do you think I am? I was like, oh really? I thought people just put them in the back garden or, under the shed. I think I'm an idiot. I don't know where scatter of the fucking go.
Well, that's where Sputnik went as well.
Yeah, I know.
Way up in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fell right behind in the space race. And this is where the conspiracy theorists say that it all started to kind of unravel at this point that they'd lost the first satellite. They hadn't managed to get the first dog into space. They hadn't managed to get the first man into space. And I want to say Kennedy had been assassinated. I think he had been by this point. So morale was quite low. So they wanted to get a man into space and on the moon.
Yeah.
And this is where they say that, rather than actually put a man on the moon, they hoaxed putting a man on the moon. And according to what NASA say happened, it was on November the 19th, 1969, which would have been just shy of 6 weeks before President Kennedy said that he wanted a man on the moon by. So at this point, I suppose we should just start talking about the actual, conspiracy, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so the conspiracy theorists say that because of how the technology was at the time, it would have actually been easier to fake than it would have been to put a man on the moon. They say that the technology wasn't there, to actually put them up there, where computers were, where rocket technology was at the time. The actual technology that went into the lunar lander, they say is not there to be able to put a man on the moon.
Well,
your phone has got more technology in it than the lunar lander did.
I know.
Your phone could use Grindr, yet the lunar module could not.
I don't really use Grindr though, do I? I only used it once and I embarrassed myself.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you embarrassed yourself.
Yeah, fucking downloaded Grindr, went on it. Thought, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just fuck a stranger and go to his house. I've never done it before. Got a taxi to this guy's house, pissed out my head, told him how amazing and fantastic I was, and then just passed out and I didn't even touch his dick. And then I woke up in the morning and I was like, I'm so sorry I wasted your time. And I just left.
What did he say?
He started laughing. And I just deleted it. I just embarrassed myself. And everyone who was popping up were just like, I don't know. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Do you know what I mean?
Don't Grindr...
And the guy I'm sleeping with now gets a 50% discount at Greg's. So, am I getting married? Props. Props soon.
Not no more of that Grindr.
No. Well, I'd not even used it, have I?
Yeah.
Well, I did, but I didn't fuck him. I didn't even kiss him. I did nothing with him because I'd literally turned up to his house, pissed out my head, when I'm amazing. And passed out.
I bet your Grindr and Tinder would be shit on the moon. Be literally only the other astronauts who were using it.
Yeah, well, if they're gay, that would be alright, wouldn't it?
Oh, you won't want spunk in space.
Well, what do you want your phone for in space?
Mate, I mean, there's loads of it, like places where you use your phone where people go, what do you need your phone there for? Like, there's like, people like to take their phones everywhere.
Yeah.
We know someone who basically went to Disney World and spent the entire time just like taking pictures, like being on his phone. And it didn't look like he was having a good time.
I feel like every comic who listens to this podcast will know who you fucking mean.
Yeah. You know that phrase, wish you were here? Everyone was like, wish you'd stop wishing we were here.
Yeah.
So, there's a number of things with the conspiracy that the conspiracy theorists say is evidence that the moon landing did not happen.
Yes. That documentary I watched, side note.
I watched half of it.
The documentary I watched, everybody was bald. Did you notice that? No. I just thought that's interesting. I don't know. I bet that was probably the biggest thing I took away from that documentary. I set aside about 3.5 hours today, and I was like, "That's all going to be for research." And I'd say a good hour and a half of it was on research.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was on Joe Frost's Super Nanny. Some kid had butted his bum. It was well funny.
I butted her in the head?
Yeah, he had butted her. Because he didn't want to go to bedtime. So I spent most of my research time watching Super Nanny. I still did about an hour and a half of research, which is like not the best. But the episode where I did all the research, we deleted because it
wasn't as funny. It might still come out though. Might end up being like a little...
Nah, fuck it. I think scene. We just have to keep it. It obviously works where you do all the work and I chill. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, I'm happy to read books.
I'll do me now and a half research.
I've spent my life leading up to this point. So there's like loads and loads of stuff that people say is proof that we didn't go. The amount of evidence with this one is pretty hefty.
Shall I start throwing some shit out that they say? They say about the flag.
Go on, what did they say about the flag?
It looks a bit windy and there's no wind up there.
That's true. That.
But also, if it was recorded in a studio, you don't get much wind in a studio. Yeah, because to be honest, you'd actually kind of like it. Do you know, have you been in like a filming studio when it's quite a lot of lights and stuff? It's quite warm in it.
Yeah.
But there is no fan.
Have you done much actual like professional filming?
I've done bits. I didn't enjoy it that much.
What stuff have you done?
I did like a few music video things, but I've done, you know, just stuff like filming for people's comedy, like pilot things that never do anything, and sketches. And then when people did stuff at uni, but like the proper stuff that I've done, I just felt like it was just a lot of waiting about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
fucking any time I've ever done any like proper filming, I always take a book with me.
Yeah.
Like what proper is it? Like just like music video stuff?
Yeah.
You've done?
And I don't think I'm very good at like. I think when I got good at comedy, like stand up.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before. Like, I feel like I used to be able to act all right or whatever, but I don't think I'm a good actor. I also don't think I enjoy it, and I just think it's like proper fucking gay. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. I just think it's shit compared to like stand up.
Yeah.
I prefer writing.
Yeah. Well, the proper filming stuff I've done. And like this is like proper like studio type stuff. I did Coronation Street.
Oh, you're gonna get your CV out? Fucking
yeah,
hell.
Yeah. I did Corrie.
All right.
Right. They made me read a pamphlet about bowel cancer.
Oh, beautiful.
I think that they just looked at me and were like, "He looks like he's not getting enough roughage."
Yeah. I wonder how many people are going to be wanking along to you reading out your IMDb page. Get over yourself.
And I also did Hollyoaks.
Oh my god, you need to slow down.
Yeah,
there's the fucking Mr. Hollywood over there. Oh, what are you going to do with Mr. Hollywood? I can't go anywhere with you. Going Greg. Oh, can I get a photo?
Well, what the point I was trying to make was I don't remember there being any wind on
No,
set.
there isn't. That's what I'm saying.
But they did use fake wind on... I did a BBC thing, and they used like actual wind fans for that.
What show was it?
It was me and Tom Little.
Yeah.
We were playing like soldiers.
In what show though?
I can't remember. It was like a proper historical one. It looked like it had a bit of budget.
So
Right.
no wind.
So there's no wind. But what they say against that is that it's not wind that's blowing the flag. It's that they put the flag in the ground and then unfurled it. And that's what's causing the flag to move. Because there is no atmosphere up there. So when the flag moves, there's less air resistance against the flag. So it'll
And
flap
they said
from
about the flag being like with the lines and stuff.
Yeah.
He said, well, it would have been a bit creased in the journey up there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, if they could take a fucking rocket all the way up there, do you know what I mean? If they could take a spaceship, they had all the technology to do that, they could have took a fucking iron.
Yeah, but you've got to...
I hate ironing. I think I'd rather travel to the moon. Like, I hate ironing. Me mum does. Even when she didn't have much money, she used to pay someone to iron her clothes. But the woman smoked, so and my mum didn't, and her clothes ended up smelling of smoke, so she just stopped paying the ironing lady.
Yeah. The other day when you asked me to iron your shirt, I really regretted not us having an ironing board.
Oh yeah, do you know when you did?
Yeah.
I ironed it again in the morning.
Oh, is it not a good job?
I don't think you turned the iron up. It was turned down quite low.
So I didn't know that it had been turned down. Oh. It was hot though.
Oh, is it?
Like, it's not as if I just like was like, wow, this is
It would have been fine.
Yeah.
But like, I thought it was a good job I got up earlier.
Oh, well, apologies, mate.
Don't worry about it. You just share everything you do. But I have accepted it.
Good.
So, right. So that's it. People were basically moaning that there was fucking the flag were moving. That was that wind bit.
Yeah, that's...
So
I remember when we did the Shakespeare one, you were like, it works better when Tom introduces the bits. But, when you introduce bits with, the wind moving.
No, but when I did the Shakespeare one, we say that we didn't even put the episode.
It will go out. Like, I'll eventually edit it to make it funny.
It just wasn't, because I knew what I was going on about, and it just felt weird because I normally I'm just a chill sort of guy.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that much research when you look this good.
Let's explain my being GCSE maths on it.
So, let's throw another one out. What do you think about the footprints on the moon?
I don't know. What's this?
So people were talking about like the footprints and stuff, and as well. So do you know what's it actually called? The thing that lowers down.
You've not done a very good job of explaining that. I can see your hands, and I don't even know what you're referring to. Do you mean the lunar module lander?
There we go, lunar. The lunar module.
Yeah.
So when the lunar module comes down, you'd expect a big... I don't know how to do this on the podcast because I can only explain it with
He's using his hands a lot. We need I think we need to start doing a video podcast.
You'd expect
for these bits.
a din. Well, you'd have to clean your room, you dirty bastard. You'd expect like a dint in the floor, from the dust.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any because of all the power coming from the lunar module. Is that the right word?
Yeah, go on.
That it would have made all the sand move like...
Oh, it would have made all the dust go away.
Yeah. That's my point.
So that's what... Yeah, so they're saying that the lunar module was a prop and it was just kind of lowered down rather than actually having thrusters.
Yeah.
Here's one. So this here, I think, is a really good point for the moon landing actually having happened. They say that it all came about because America was losing a space race, there was a Cold War, all that sort of stuff. How much do you actually know about the space race?
I knew that basically the Russians... I don't know why I feel a bit bad just calling the Russians, but yeah, the Russians made Sputnik, the satellite, flew that satellite out there, and then, the Americans was like, oh shit, well, they've done this, they're obviously a bit more ahead of us, so they wanted to win the space race, like they want to become more advanced in space, because the Americans apparently was getting a bit paranoid, thinking, oh, well, they could put a satellite up there that could just like nuke us all out.
Part of it was the nuclear threat. Part of it as well was, do you know about the whole capitalism versus communism thing?
Yeah.
America didn't want for other countries to become communist, and Russia didn't want for other countries to become capitalist.
Yeah.
There was this fear that if the communist parties were, getting so far ahead with the space race, that other countries, and maybe even America, people within America would go, well, maybe communism is the way to do this then.
Yeah.
So this is one of the big things that I think goes for the moon landing actually happening, is that the USSR, or Soviet Russia, has never ever claimed that it didn't happen. And you'd think that if it was a fake, that Russia would say, we think that you filmed that in a studio.
Yeah.
In order to claim that you're beating us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because they'd be the first ones to jump to it.
Yeah.
And they'd know. It seems like the Russians kind of know everything, don't they? They know about everybody's emails. They know about all this shit.
They've got their spy game on lock, mate.
Yeah, they have. I think I'd make a good spy.
Why?
Because who suspects a fucking fabulous little gay Manchester boy? Do you know what I mean? No one can suspect me of anything. Can get away with anything.
Such as?
stuff that spies do. You know, bringing down governments, turning shit up, and fingering hot pussy.
That was the USSR and the Cold War.
Yeah.
So the next bit that that conspiracy theorists say is that Stanley Kubrick was the director of the moon landings.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of his work?
Yeah, I like that film.
Oh, that film?
Yeah.
Which film?
The one where with Jack Nicholson, The Shining.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It is a good film.
I think that scene where he kisses that old woman in the bath. Disgusting.
Can't remember that scene.
That's a fucking really famous bit.
I remember this bit where he has the axe and he starts knocking about the door.
Yeah.
And I remember the kid on the little bike and that. And I remember his wife running away.
Yeah, she does that a lot though.
And I remember because she has a proper shit run.
Have you seen 2001 Space Odyssey?
No.
So that's like his big sci-fi epic. And the conspiracy theorists say that was basically like his show reel.
I didn't think that was him. I thought that was just a different producer and they talked about that. I didn't think that was the exact...
I'm pretty sure that's him. Let me just double check. Yeah. I put in Stanley Kubrick and that's the first link, 2001 Space Odyssey. So people say that 2001 Space Odyssey was him practicing and getting some of his techniques down to get the filming of the moon landing down.
Yeah.
I remember before we started recording, you said to me that you thought that it would be easy for them to fake doing the moon landing.
I think they could get away with it. I'd fucking believe them.
Yeah.
I think they could fake it, yeah, 100%.
Why do you think that?
Well, what they said is they could send them up and they rotated round Earth for however long they did. And then they just came back down with all this footage because it wasn't done live. This was Apollo 12. Apollo 11 was live, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Some people think that the set is at Area 51.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that that's what's at Area 51? If I remember rightly, we spoke about this a little bit in the Area 51 episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right. So there's got to be something at Area 51.
Yeah.
Could it be the set for the moon landing?
I think you should rewind to that episode if you want that answer. Bye. Make me repeat myself. No, I don't know. Nah, don't believe it. I don't know, maybe. That's not the best answer. They could be. Who knows? I don't know what's there. I think it's more likely that than a bunch of fucking aliens knocking about, chilling, having some cigars. But I think that there's like planes and stuff.
Yeah, I think that if it is fake and there is a set somewhere, I don't know why they'd keep the set after all these years. At the time, in the 60s and the 70s, I could understand them going, well, you never know when we'll need it again.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know why they'd keep it.
Yeah.
Tell you what, one of my like little life goals when I was about 16 was to go to this museum called the Smithsonian. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
Right. It's like the National Museum of America.
Okay.
They've got stuff in there like the Hope Diamond. They've got stuff in there like Abraham Lincoln's hat that he got shot in. They've got Bruce Willis's vest from Die Hard. But
is that a sniff?
Would you? Somehow I get a feeling it's probably behind some glass, mate.
What?
It's probably behind some glass.
Smash it.
But
walk in there, smash it. Be like, oh, what are you doing? I'll be like, it's fucking speaking to. Can do what I want.
But what I wanted to say was, they've got one of the lunar landers, if not the Apollo 11 one.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like that'd be something that I would like definitely, like to see. Like that's one of the big things that I would go to that museum for.
Would you try and touch it?
Oh mate. Can't deny that one. That won't be tempted.
Yeah. Just be a piece of cold metal. I don't think it would change your life.
I don't think it would, but you could go touch that. The rest of my notes, I think, are like just questions for you. So, Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. Buzz Aldrin, second man on the moon.
Yeah.
Right. You're going up with Neil.
Yeah.
Right. You're about to go out. Neil starts shuffling towards the door. Would you be a bit annoyed to be Buzz and be like the second man rather than the first? Or would you want him to be the first?
In terms of safety, like, I'd rather him go first, in case it goes wrong, he dies, and that could have been me. Do you know what I mean? So, I'd rather him die than me.
Well, how's it going to go wrong? You're already on the moon at that point.
But, you're talking about, like, yeah, Neil Armstrong, he's dead famous. The other one's called Buzz. Guess who else is called Buzz? Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, well, he's named after him.
That's what I'm about to say. Who's got the bigger legacy, really? Buzz Lightyear.
I think probably Neil Armstrong.
No, mate. Buzz Lightyear. All this. So what was he called? Buzz
Aldrin.
And
you can't even remember his surname.
Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong are not even as famous as Buzz Lightyear. So there we go. There's my answer. I'd rather be Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, so his real name wasn't Buzz, That was like his nickname.
Buzz Lightyear?
No, Buzz Aldrin, it weren't his real name. Like, Buzz was just his nickname.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. What was his real name?
His name was Edwin.
Not really the best name.
You can see where he went with Buzz, can't you?
Yeah, Buzz.
So, that was my first question. Would you be bothered that you won't be the first man on the moon?
Well, I'm not the first person to do anything, really. Everybody's done everything before me, do you know what I mean? I'm only young.
I wonder how old they were. How old were they when they landed on the moon?
Well, you feel like I don't know, I feel like everybody will be thinking, listening to this, like, I wish Tom just came more prepared.
Yeah, just like you. Right.
How am I not prepared? Have you got a blanket wrapped around your feet? No.
So, he would have been 39 when he walked on the moon. That's quite old, that. I expected him to be a bit younger.
Oh, I think that's quite young. I expected him to be a bit older.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they would have... Well, they're not going to let some fucking 25-year-old... They're not going to let someone who's 22 go up, are they? Do you know what I mean? Have you seen how much car insurance is for a 22-year-old? They don't trust us with any fucking vehicle, never mind.
A lunar lander.
A lunar lander. Do you know what I mean? Fuck off now. I feel like... as I kept saying 22 and be like, and then I was like, I'm 25 now.
You fucking old, you.
But as someone today was like, you're 25, and I was like, I thought you was 20. And I know, like, some people would be like, oh, but I genuinely do only look about 20.
Yeah. I don't like the lines in my forehead, because I didn't have lines in my forehead for ages, and now I feel like I'm
for looking
worse.
at mine when you said that. I do have them in mind.
Right, so this was going to be another question I had. Right, did you know there was a third person on the Apollo 11 mission?
No.
There was a third person called Michael Collins, and he did not get to walk on the moon.
Why?
So he had to be in the rocket that was orbiting the moon, so that the lunar lander could come back up to the rocket and then them fly back to Earth.
Oh, I bet he was well pissed off. I would have been fuming.
What, to be him?
Oh, yeah, watching your mates jump about with no gravity and you're just going to fucking sit there like a dick. I would have been pissed off. I wouldn't have fucking let him back in. I would have been, I bet on the way up there, everything would have been for Mike. He would have been like, window seat, I've got it. Oh, there's only one fucking space chocolate bar left. Oh, guess what? It's mine. You can go fuck yourself. You get 0 gravity. Do you know what I mean? He would have got the best bunk. He would have got the best everything. And I hope he got paid more. I think he's the fucking hero. Fucking Armstrong. Everyone should know his name. Because do you know what's more impressive than walking on the room? Surviving the fear of missing out. And
I bet we had well bad FOMO.
yeah, and he was just watching them like, you fucking cunts. Michael Collins, he's the one we should all be buzzing about. I'm going to get him tattooed on me, like, that's an hero. Someone who can just go, do you want, boys? You take all the fame, the glory, and the fun. I'll stay up here and do your admin. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
How early on do you think that they told him, or do you think that they were like looking at the lunar lander and Michael's going, why is there only 2 seats in there in lunar lander? I thought we'd have needed 3 seats, because there's 3 seats in the rocket and only 2 in the lunar. Like, Neil, I've not. There's only 2 like space suits,
and it's annoying as well because it's fear of missing out.
Yeah,
not being able to fucking put the fun spacesuits on and go jumping about on the moon. But also, do you know when you've been travelling for so long and you just want to stretch your legs? Do you know what I mean?
You're going, Neil, I've got a bit of deep vein from Moses here.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm sorry, there's only 2 seats.
Because those fucking like rockets or whatever, they're like cramped as shit. You know, you've been travelling to a gig all day and you just think, oh, I can't wait to get off this fucking train so I can just like properly just stretch these legs out. And they got to do them.
Yeah, motorway services
on the moon. And it's just like, oh, you bastards.
Yeah. And he was up there on his own for at least a day.
I'd have fucking done it shit to their food.
What, spitting in the space crisp?
Yeah. I would have just, I would have been so angry. I would have been the most angriest I could have ever been. I don't think it's possible to be. I mean, what an hero. What a fucking champion he
Michael Collins.
Michael Collins. That's
Mickey C.
He's the best human being you could ask for. I mean, what a fucking chill out guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and no one knows his name either. Like, you wouldn't have known it if I hadn't said, would you?
I'll never forget it.
Good.
Never forget your heroes. Fuck Sir Ann Jones. It's Michael Collins and Sir Ann.
My question was specifically, would you be gutted to be Michael Collins?
I think I answered that.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I'd have killed one of the others.
Right, so the thing about Michael Collins, though, the reason why they needed someone in the rocket
to get him back in.
Yeah, is to get him back in. But it's because
they could have took turns. Do you know what I mean? They could have gone back in and then back out.
They wouldn't have had enough fuel, mate.
What, to just travel up a little bit more? He could have just offered parts near him. Do you know what I mean?
Mate,
or at least let down a rope.
It's not like a NCP, mate. Let down a rope. Right, so the reason why they needed that was because they didn't know if the lunar lander would work.
Yeah.
And they didn't know if the lunar lander would be able to get them back up to, the rocket.
So what was their plan B?
Well, the plan B was, I don't know if you know this, but when the moon landing happened, it was Richard Nixon who was president.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a specific speech that was written either by him or for him about if Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin died on the moon.
Okay.
If the lunar lander hadn't have worked, they'd have been stuck on the moon and would have known that they would have either starved to death or been deprived of oxygen.
So there wasn't a rope.
No, there weren't a rope, mate. So that's the reason why you had Michael Collins.
Yeah.
Because Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong could have very easily died.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that?
Like, it kind of makes Michael's job not as bad. Well, but only on the way up there. Because on the way up there, they would have been like, oh, maybe I'll die or whatever. And then when they safely landed and they started fucking, and everything was going fine, and they was just running about, they would have forgot that they might not be able to get back in. They would have been like, "Oh my god, this is so much fun!" And from then he would have just been. I bet he was thinking, "I hope these bastards. I might just fuck off.
I hope the lunar lander can't take back off."
Yeah, I bet he was thinking, "I hope these fuckers just die."
I'd like to think that Michael Collins was a bit nicer than you would have been.
What did he do up there for the day?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like,
he would have had to read a book. No Netflix.
You think? I was going to say I had a wank, but it's probably not good in space. So, do you know what the first thing to be drunk on the moon was?
It'd be something really American. Blended hot dogs as well.
Blended hot dogs.
Something dead American. Root beer.
No, it was wine. Imagine being pissed on the moon.
And I've been pissed on a plane once.
What happened?
I was fucking wankered. I only had 2 drinks. I don't know why I got so fucking shit-faced. But I didn't have to embarrass myself.
What happened?
I was just one of those standard Josh gets pissed and says everything wrong